There are youngsters like cockroaches who do not get any employment. Some of them become media, some become social media, some RTI activists. Now, that is a direct courtroom quote from India's Chief Justice. And let's be real, it was never meant to go viral. But it absolutely did. Welcome to This Explainer. I'm tracking this exact phenomenon for us here at the Free Pen, looking at how one off-the-cuff remark literally ignited the fastest-growing political movement on the internet.
Okay, let's dive right into this because the numbers here are they're absolutely staggering. In under a week, a purely satirical entity, the Cockroach Janta Party, or the CJP, amassed 20 million Instagram followers. To put that into perspective, the ruling BJP sits at 8.7 million. The Congress Party, 13 million. The CJP outpaced a century of traditional political legacy in a matter of days, and they did it with just 52 posts. No way you'd predict that, right?
So we're looking at the Cockroach Party, how a judge's remark exposed India's youth crisis.
To really understand this, we've got to look at this blistering news cycle. May 15th, the Chief Justice drops the cockroach remark. Literally, the very next day, May 16th, there's a formal legal clarification issued calling the youth the pillars of India. But you know how the internet works. It was way too late. That clarification functioned merely as fuel for a second wave of memes. By May 21st, the movement was so massive that the government actually initiated an aggressive crackdown.
So, who's behind this explosion? It's a 30-year-old PR student named Abhijeet Dipke. He essentially leveraged Gen Z digital fluency, hooked it up with AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude, and built a massive, polished political front in basically 24 hours. There were no physical elections, no street rallies, just a Google form, some AI imagery, and incredibly perfect timing.
And the branding? It was a total masterclass in irony. Look at their eligibility criteria. Unemployed, physically lazy, chronically online for 11 hours a day, and professional ranters. Instead of getting defensive, India's youth wore the cockroach insult as a badge of collective identity. They adopted the slogan, "Maybe cockroach," completely understanding that a satirical meme is often the sharpest weapon against institutional condescension.
And this brilliantly illustrates what sets the CJP apart from just a random joke account. Beneath the memes, there's a surprisingly formal manifesto targeting highly specific structural grievances. We're talking demands like no post-retirement Rajya Sabha seats for the judiciary, arresting the Election Commission for deleted votes, cancelling corporate media licenses for massive conglomerates like Adani and Reliance. These aren't just punchlines, they are raw, lived frustrations channeled into satire.
Let's pivot to the sobering data for a second, because this really explains why that courtroom quote struck such a massive nerve. According to the PLFS data, the overall unemployment rate in India looks manageable at 3.1%. But zoom in. The youth unemployment rate jumps to 9.9%. For urban youth, it's 13.6%. And for graduates, it sits at an estimated 13%, while for the uneducated, it's almost zero.
And it gets deeper. In 2024, nearly 25% of India's youth were categorized as NEET. That's not in education, employment, or training. That is significantly above the global average of 20%. Keep in mind, India produces over 8 million new graduates every single year. These young adults are doing exactly what society told them to do. Go to school, get a degree, only to step into a uniquely difficult labor market full of closed doors.
Now, layered right on top of that structural economic crisis is a very recent, incredibly painful wound, the 2026 NEET UG exam paper leak scandal. This is the massive medical entrance exam. For hundreds of thousands of young people, a leaked paper isn't just some administrative error. It's a fundamental betrayal. It essentially confirmed to the youth that the meritocratic system was broken right before the Chief Justice made his remark.
So, what happens when a meme gets too big? The state strikes back. On May 21st, the official X account was withheld under Section 69A. Intelligence Bureau flags were raised, backup Instagram accounts were hacked, their website was taken down, and fake IT cell impersonators popped up everywhere. The irony here is just palpable, right? The government deployed serious, immense state apparatus to crush a meme.
But the founder's background adds a really interesting layer to all this. Abhijeet Dipke was actually a former social media strategist for the Aam Aadmi Party from 2020 to 2023, where he drove their youth engagement. Now, critics obviously point to this and call the CJP a sophisticated, partisan astroturfing operation. Dipke, on the other hand, maintains it's a purely youth-driven, spontaneous satire. Regardless of where you stand on that, you have to admit it executes the modern digital insurgency playbook flawlessly.
So the crucial point here is how established politics reacted to this wildfire. Mainstream opposition figures, like Congress MP Shashi Tharoor, stepped in to voice support and criticize the government's crackdown. But this highlights a dynamic we track very closely here at the Freeing Pen. You have mainstream opposition awkwardly trying to claim ownership of this raw protest energy, even though the movement explicitly rejects them too. The CJP is targeting the entire political establishment, not just the ruling party.
Zooming out a bit, this whole saga really exposes the broader influencer election economy. This is a massive, unregulated space. Political parties are out here courting food vloggers. They're paying finance creators upwards of 10 to 12 lakh rupees for subtle policy endorsements, often with absolutely zero sponsorship disclosure. Essentially, digital influencers have replaced traditional TV anchors in shaping modern political reality.
And that reveals two totally different paradigms at play right now. For political incumbents, social media is viewed mostly as an amplification and advertising tool. They spend millions of dollars trying to look cool. But for the insurgents, social media isn't just marketing, it is a complete substitute for physical political infrastructure. No field offices, no ground workers. Just one guy with a Google form organizing millions of people and completely capturing the zeitgeist.
Now, there are reports floating around that CJP supporters might actually try to contest local elections, like the Bankapur by-election. But honestly, winning seats is the wrong measure of success here. Our core takeaway from this explainer is the massive distance between the official narrative of a $5 trillion economy and the sobering reality of 13% graduate unemployment. The CJP itself might be a joke, but the millions of deeply frustrated voters it represents, that is a very real impending electoral disruption. Because think about it. When the government actually uses legal blocks to shut down a student's meme account, it shows you exactly how seriously they take the people laughing at them. The frustration powering those 20 million followers is urgently real, which leaves us with this final thought. If a satirical meme account can completely outpace a century-old political party in a matter of days, who really controls the future of democracy? Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer here at the Free Pen. I'll see you in the next one.